Neighbors, what's the most traumatizing thing that's ever happened to you? Last year, I moved into this old farmhouse with my son Jake. Cheap rent, quiet area, exactly what a single dad needed. The only neighbors within shouting distance were the Millers. Seemed normal enough, husband, wife, and their teenage daughter Emma. First time I met them, they brought over a casserole. Mr. Miller worked from home as an accountant. Mrs. Miller taught piano. Emma was homeschooled, shy but polite. They seemed like the perfect family. Every Sunday, they'd drive to church together. Mr. Miller coached the local baseball team. Mrs. Miller volunteered at the food bank. They were exactly the kind of neighbors you'd want. About a month after moving in, I started noticing odd things. Nothing scary, just strange. Emma never left the house alone, always with one parent, usually her dad. Their curtains stayed closed, even during beautiful weather. When I'd mow my lawn, Mr. Miller would watch from their porch the entire time. One day, Jake made friends with Emma when the Millers visited. They exchanged phone numbers, but whenever Jake texted her, the responses seemed off. When I mentioned this to Mrs. Miller, she laughed nervously. Emma's not great with technology. We help her with her messages. Emma was 19, according to them. I invited them for dinner once. Emma barely spoke, just kept looking at her dad before answering any questions. When I asked about her plans after homeschooling, Mr. Miller quickly said she had special needs and would always live with them. Emma didn't look like she had any disabilities to me, just seemed nervous. One night, I heard something outside. Thinking it was a raccoon in my trash, I looked out the window and saw Emma in their backyard, digging in the garden. At 2 a.m., Mrs. Miller stood nearby, holding a flashlight. When I mentioned it casually the next day, Mr. Miller said Emma was sleepwalking, and they had to watch her carefully. Then one rainy Tuesday, while Jake was at school, I heard glass breaking next door, then a loud thump. I walked over to check if everything was okay. No one answered the door, but I noticed their side window was broken. Concerned, I peeked through it. Emma was inside, frantically grabbing things. Clothes, a backpack, a small box from under the couch. Her hands were bleeding from the glass. "Emma?" I called through the broken window. "You okay? Need help?" She froze, then rushed to the window. "Are you in trouble?" I asked. "What's going on?" She climbed through the window, cutting her arm in the process, and ran into my yard. I followed her, confused. "I'm not Emma," she said, breathing hard. "My name is Jessica." Before I could process what she meant, Mr. Miller's truck screeched into their driveway. He jumped out, saw us, and his face twisted into something I'll never forget. "Get inside!" he screamed at her. She shook her head, backing toward me. "No more," she kept saying. "I'm not your daughter." That's when I noticed the small box in her hand, filled with IDs, all with different girls' photos, but the same face shape as hers. I stepped between them. "I think she needs medical attention," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "This isn't your business," he snarled, moving toward her. I called the police, told them exactly what I saw and heard. They found a locked room in the basement. No windows, just a bed, a bucket, and scratch marks on the walls. Turns out Emma wasn't their daughter. She'd been kidnapped 4 years ago from a college campus 2 states over. The Millers weren't even the Millers. The special needs story was to explain her behavior. The sleepwalking was her searching for hidden house keys. Those weekend church trips, moving her between houses so no one would find her. The police found 3 other girls' belongings hidden in their attic, all reported missing over the last decade. Jake asks why I always check his bedroom window locks twice now. Some things you can't explain to a 10-year-old.